Hello and welcome back. That is the second part now of our Boeing 67 tutorial. I have made nothing changed to the aircraft from the last part to now. So everything I haven't done we will continue together now. So first is over the Autopilot panel. We need to set up our initial altitude. We set 5,000 and our departing runway, which is a 9er. So we set the runway heading, that's 0970. We go over into the overhead panel with our selected view. We now need to turn on the engine control unit. No. Okay. Now down here, nothing is indicated. Parking brake is okay. We will release the parking brake, so we have no warning in recall, and we can start taxiing. So we just add the brake out thrust, wait for the aircraft to speed up, and let it roll. Over here you have your true airspeed, indicated airspeed, and ground speed over here. So that's big. Oh no. Okay. I recommend using the pop-outs because if you're having a view down to both displays, that one is so way down. Do it like you want. I use the pop-out for the departure and for the landing mostly. In flight I don't use it, I don't like it. But when taxiing and taking off, it is a great feature. Okay, now we go back to idle. We just let the aircraft roll its way. We have enough power to just continue our drive, and as we leave the cargo ramp we turn on the transponder, and we are probably I wanted to say we're probably off taxiway because I looked way too long down, but that's great. And then return again. By the way, that's Exynos Memphis, and we will land in freeware Louisville. All of the sceneries are linked down. Is it Louisville? No, it isn't Louisville. Is it Louisville? Sierra Delta Foxtrot. I forgot where we're flying to. Oh no. It was Louisville, right? Yeah, of course, Louisville. I thought I'm completely off. Yeah, I planned another route earlier. That's why I got distracted, because I thought was it this airport or was it this airport? But Louisville is correct. The other possibility I want to take before this flight was Indianapolis, but I don't have a scenery installed for Indianapolis. That's why we fly to Louisville. Okay. We've got a ground speed of 14 knots, which means we can probably speed up a little bit, make our way to the runway. Let's say something about 767. It is used mostly in cargo operations at the moment. Some German airlines, United, American, some Americans, and some Asian airlines are using it currently for passenger flights, but it's going to be mostly cargo in the next few years, because all of the older aircrafts are okay, yeah, checked. Are getting retired and replaced by newest. So 767 replacement is probably The new 787, 777 will be 777X, A330neo, A350, all of that. The Cargo, of course, 777. It's all 777. So they're going to retire the old aircrafts, which I think is sad, but yeah, I mean, the 767 is nearly as old as the A310s are, and they're flying just as cargo, and they're very rare. So yeah, I think it's a great thing that we are trying to get the new aircrafts into the sky. So general in-flight shots, that's great, we reached the point, it's over here, and then turn on landing lights, wing light, and the runway turn off. So slowing down with the rudder. Does I have a view? Yeah, I do have a view. What's this one? I just like sitting on the desk up here. Lining up.
Approaching 9.
I still think this tower just looks weird. 9, that's checked. So it's a funny thing, we've got a holding point here because of runway 18 center, which is in front of us. But first of all, we can ignore it because we've been cleared for departure. Oh no. Okay. So that's just the traffic here. Totally okay. We've been cleared for departure. We can cross it. We see parking brake is indicated. Of course, parking brake is set. No other indication, so that is checked. Lights are on. Bleeds are on. Gens are available. Pass signs, auto, continuous, and flap set 5. Transponder is on TARA. And then we are ready to go. Okay. What do you have to consider while taking off? There are no V speeds, so you can see it in your navigation display, but there is no voice like you are probably knowing from the JAR aircrafts or Zibo, where you have the co-pilot, or in my case the captain, who is calling out we passed 80 knots, V1, rotate. You don't have it. I miss it, to be honest, and I don't know if there's a sound pack for. That's something you have to remind you. You have to look at it and see, okay, now my speeds are there. Speeding up, this aircraft don't takes a very long range. Aircraft's engines are pretty strong, and everything can be done at a very short distance if you're comparing it to other aircraft this size. Brake is now released. We have no warning. Recall is checked because we don't have recall information on it. We can press recall. Nothing will happen. Okay, you see the aircraft is moving a little bit. That's okay. And then we can just go on. I set the engine thrust. Wait for the engines. There they are. And then I set the speed band onto the engine band onto the green markers, so the engines won't run over their limit, and airspeed is live. We've passed 80 knots. There we have V1, rotate. Now I pull a bit, so now I go to neutral, so we don't have tail strike. I wait for the aircraft to lift up, and we're up in the skies without tail striking. Go up. We see the gear door is open, lights are off, indicating gear is now in transit. and to turn it off we need just once to click the gear lever. When all of the lights are off, because if the lights are still on, your gear isn't completely retracted, and if you're turning it to off, then you have a problem because your gear isn't correctly retracted, and you just cut all of the hydraulic to the gear, and it can't be completely retracted into the belly, and then you probably know what I mean. Look, lights off, then. Okay, flaps 1, here the flap lever, and up. And here it again. Now we're just flying straight on. And we will fly a direct to Duke, because for now we're flying a vector. Duke, execute, present position to Duke. And then we trim. We set the trim to 2.1 per departure. Now we just trim as we like, or as we need. Follow the flight directives, and as your aircraft reaches safe altitude, you can turn on command, and yeah, the safe altitude for the aircraft is way lower than I did, but I like this aircraft so we can hand fly it. Okay, we now reached 5,000. You hear the speed is lowering and we are maintaining 5,000. We don't want it, we want to climb. We want to climb to 290, entering 290, and pressing flight level change. There are some other ways to do it. For example, where we have, let's say 240, like you can do a VNAV climb, then the aircraft is following the indicated altitudes up here. Or you can do the vertical speed climb, then the aircraft is following the vertical speed you enter. Or you can do flight level change, which is prioritizing which set the priority onto speed, and VNAV is set the priority onto altitude. Prioritizing. Yeah, you know what I mean. If you know how the word is correctly pronounced, just put it in the comments in text how you would pronounce it. Prioritize. Something around here. You probably get the idea. Okay, nose wheel off, white off. Now we just wait until passing flight level 100. Prioritizing. I think it's prioritizing. Yeah, that sounds great. Okay, now we say con. That's continuous thrust. That's a bit more than the takeoff thrust. You can zoom in and out over here. I really do miss wing views in this aircraft. It's so sad. The flight vector made everything completely hard, so you can't get through. Okay. I just saw the HF panel, which is over here. We don't need it for this flight, but if you need it, turn it to USB, and then you can turn on the frequencies. That's something you probably will never ever need. That's why I stay well off. Okay, great. Okay, now we passed flight level 100. Turn on all of these lights. Off. This one off, and then you're good to go. Okay, the aircraft is now speeding up from 250 or 240, which was under, up to 323. You can go on this page, and then you could change it. The economy speed, let's say 8.2, and then you see the speed has changed. We can say 0.85. Okay, that's an inward entry. So 8.4 is probably Inventory? Oh my gosh. I thought... No. 8-3? Yes, okay, 8-3 is possible. And now we're speeding up onto the next waypoint. I think now is a great moment just to cover some basic stuff around the aircraft, because there is something you need to know. Okay, that's our navigation display. It's not an MFD because you can't really do anything with it besides navigating. That's our route, that's our waypoints, and this pointy little thing which can't really decide what it's doing is indicating you what the aircraft is currently flying. We had some turbulences, so the aircraft was turning always and was shaking around, so our route just diverted to right and left. Now it seems to be stabilized, and you don't see the trapped area, which is meaning it is exactly our route, which is perfect, which is what we want. Then you see over here the distance to the next waypoint. You don't see the next waypoint besides from the map. In modern aircraft you see, for example, he would say Duke, that's 6.0 miles, and not just the number, and you have to look down. Over here's the time when reaching, isn't it? I mean, yeah, probably, because we have 0156 now, and 2356 Zulu is reaching, meaning in this moment we reached the waypoint. We did it. Now it's 01F58. You see 2358 .4 Zulu is entered. That's great. We've got off top of climb, and here we've got the moment when reaching the next entered altitude. That's great. Okay, over to the navigation, of course, the primary flight display, which isn't really showing all primary flight informations. You've got your artificial horizon with the flight director, which is great. You've got two flight director options. You've got the dual Q flight director and this one. Using this one because it's standard in most aircrafts. The dual Q flight director is a pointy triangle, a doubled triangle. It looks like, I think it should represent the wings of the aircraft. I don't like it. If you like it, use it. If you don't like it, use this one. You can enter all of that in your electronic flight bag. I can show you some informations. For information, now I will enter some basic stuff with the Avionics Settings. If you don't want to know or set anything like a tutorial, you don't need to look this part of it. You can go into the timeline and then skip just a part, see how it's going on afterwards. If you like my opinion or my settings, you can now look and probably learn something. Okay, we've got a green light, it's 1000 feet to go, checked. We're following the VNAV path speed, that's great. Okay. So you can, I just not very, have here some more stuff to enter. I used the modern EFIS panel, do it like you do it like you like. Okay, the EAD. You have to, this one, which I think is looking disgusting. I really don't like it. I think it is awful. If you like it, you can use it. I won't stop you, and I recommend using what you like. But I personally, I don't know. I really don't know. That's looking okay. FMA on top. That is basically the same setting. Integrated dual Q flight director. That's one triangle, that's the second triangle. I don't like this one. If you like it, you can go on, use it. You have some more settings which are only working with without the airspeed tape. The trend vector, will be probably down here. Autopilot, you can set some settings. So yeah, that's something it. You can set the RAS alert here. You send round dial, and that's probably only this one. Rising runway, it will indicate with the RAS, I think, and all of this one. So just click through every setting and find the way you like it. Here you can use some bluish style. I don't know. I really don't know. Yeah. You have some more settings over here, like the displays, the APU, and all of that. You can say, okay, I want this, I don't want this, I want this, I don't want this, for every single setting. You can set the status page. You can enter some new things. You can the APU EGT, for example. You can just turn it off. Now you don't see the RPM of the APU or the hydraulic pressurization. I don't know. I mean, okay, if they liking it, I turn everything off. If you like it, you can turn some things off to have a feeling of flying a really old aircraft. I personally I'm not a fan of it. But it's over to you. That's something I can't tell you with a tutorial, because that's something you have to know for yourself. What do you like? What do you use? We're using the PIP FMC, Papa India Papa. It has some more features, like in the 740, 737, all that. If you don't use it, you have to enter in some other things manually. I'm not a fan of it. You can do it. But remember, let's say 80 or 90% of everything you can change is only available when the aircraft is not loaded. So now, for example, you can't change the engine types, because it's only available when the aircraft is loaded. And maintenance, which we have to do, okay, prior to departure isn't possible now because the aircraft is loaded. Do it before you press load. I don't know what Flight 50 thought, but okay, it isn't possible. We have just to accept it. Okay, that is everything about the engine, PFD and MFD displays. We can turn the display down here off by clicking the active page once again. You can view some other pages, you can flick it around, you can do so many things. It's great. So just check out what you like. This aircraft is equipped for long haul. I've done flights going 10 or 12 hours in this aircraft, and you have a lot of time to check out everything. And other than in real life, you can change your PFD, for example, or your equipment and all of that. I just tried and looked, okay, what is it doing, how is it doing it, do I like it or do I don't like it. The bad thing, the settings are reset after updating the aircraft. That was my mistake. That was why I have to adjust some settings in the first and in the second part. Okay, I would say we just leave it for that. For this part, we call back at top of descent. Thank you very much for your attention. I hope you've got some new information, new learn steps about this aircraft, and we'll see you soon again. Bye.